Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, and welcome to this week's Let's Talk Television. Alright, so welcome to episode 2 of the series here. I thought episode 1 was a pretty big success. I thought it was a pretty cool, good pilot, right? I had a really good topic idea for that one too, just because of the timing of it and everything, to get that spring schedule out, and I was probably going to do a video about that anyways, but with these episodes I realized too, I can get a lot of stuff out that I just, wouldn't get out in a normal review video, and especially because not, all of the subscribers or my viewers on the channel are going to watch every single review video, right? Like, that'd be very rare that someone is interested in all the same shows I am. But yeah, I mean, maybe it's possible, but even then, I mean, not everyone is going to watch the review videos. So these episodes, or this show, I guess, is a way for me to, kind of talk about things not related to those shows, but still, in a way, that it can reach people on the channel. So yeah, I'm really excited about this series. I really think that we can really make it, something big, and over time, really make it better, develop it a little bit more, and all that stuff. So yeah, so this week's episode, I'm going to be, the main focus here is going to be talking about what happened to American Crime Story, the assassination of Gianni Versace. So, yeah, so this is, I hold a pretty, strong opinion about this one, to be honest, and I wouldn't call it a rant this week, but it's gonna be, like, some sort of, something like that, basically. I'm just gonna go over what I thought, how this show kind of failed. Not failed, but, it just was a disappointment to me, at least, and a lot of other viewers I've heard as well. A lot of people kind of feel the same way as me. So yeah, I'm just going to be talking about that, and then of course I'm going to get to something I like and something I don't like, that segment later in the show, and then I'm also going to get to the Q&A, and I really appreciate those of you who sent in questions. Some of my loyal, fans and friends, they kind of sent in some questions for me, so I really appreciate that. Over time, I know, eventually, we'll get, more variety of questions from a variety of people, and that's awesome, but for now, just if I get 1 or 2 questions, like I said last week, that's really awesome, right? I really appreciate that. So I got some questions for today, so I'll definitely go in and answer those towards the end of the episode today. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's good. So I got 3 or 4 questions I think I'm gonna answer. And yeah, so this one should be, I said last episode I'm gonna make these 30 to 40 minutes, so it should be within that range again. But some of them might be shorter, some of them might be longer, right? I just don't know, right? It depends on the main topic, really. And also, if I get questions and stuff like that. So yeah, this week was big, I think. I think this was a big week in television. A lot of news came out, a lot of, premieres and all that stuff. So this was an easy week to do, sort of, to get this information, all these segments and stuff. But anyways, let's get to American Crime Story. Let's get to the main discussion today. So American Crime Story, I believe it ended, last week? Last week on Wednesday it ended, or maybe 2 weeks ago I think it ended. The finale was on Wednesday night, and I don't know, I'm gonna be honest, I watched it until episode 7, and then I still haven't seen episode 8 or 9, so I can't really comment on the finale and the actual ending of the season quite yet, right? Because I haven't seen episode 8 and 9, so I'm not gonna make, false claims about the finale being bad or whatever, because I haven't seen it. So, but there's kind of a reason why I haven't seen episode 8 and 9 yet, and another reason why I did not have review videos for episode 7, 8, and 9, because I really lost interest, okay? So, first, I just want to talk about the positives of this, because I'm going to say a lot of bad stuff about it, but we got to recognize the positives about American Crime Story Versace. So, pretty much, Darren Criss, I think he deserves an Emmy for his performance. I've been saying this ever since the pilot, or the premiere for this season. He's amazing. I mean, he really captured this role of Andrew Cunanan, and it's not easy to play basically a psychopath serial killer character, and Darren Criss did it flawlessly. His performance was absolutely amazing. If he doesn't win an Emmy, I'm not sure who else would. I mean, maybe someone else gives an amazing performance as well this year, but Darren Criss, let me tell you, he did an amazing job. Edgar Ramirez did a really good job as Gianni Versace, I think. Ricky Martin, I mean, just the whole cast really did a good job. And the guy who even played, David, he was pretty good. And he wasn't, a big time actor or anything like the rest of these guys. And he did a really great job too. So I thought all the acting was really good. That was one of the best things about this. Great visuals and music throughout the season. Really, really great there. The visuals are just awesome. So, artsy and colorful at times and all that. So I really appreciated those, and the music. I think you had Easy Lover, Gloria in the first couple episodes. I'm actually still listening to those songs now. So those are some good ones. They had some really good music, and I will say that it was an interesting way of storytelling. I didn't like it, but it was interesting, right? The way that they basically told a story basically they told it from the end and then went to the beginning, pretty much, right? So that's the way they did that, and that was interesting, right? Not every show does that. A lot of shows don't do that, actually, and I think there's a reason for that. But anyways, interesting way of storytelling. But for me, those are pretty much all the positives of the show. And now, let's talk a little bit about the negatives, or a lot about the negatives. So, pretty much, in my opinion, okay, this is all, my opinion. Of course, you guys leave comments, and, if you agree with me or disagree with me. But after episode 2, okay, episode 2 of this season, I think things went downhill for this show, okay? So, it started, I think, after episode 2, I think it started to shift to who is Andrew Cunanan rather than the assassination of Gianni Versace. That's after just 2 episodes of the season, okay? So, I think that after episode 2, those first 2 episodes were mainly focused on Gianni Versace, right? How he got to, Miami Beach, right? I think those first 2 episodes, and the actual killing of him, the aftermath with his lover Ricky Martin, and then Penelope Cruz in there with Donatella, like his sister, and all that playing out. That was very interesting. I really liked that. Episode 3, you get a random killing, and that's when you see Andrew Cunanan's basically rise to power, I would say, but obviously negative power, killing people. But yeah, sort of his rise, right, to killing people. And I felt like episode 3 was the beginning of the end for this show, or at least for this season, I should say. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like the show really turned into, let's tell a story about Andrew Cunanan and, what he has gone through, how he got to this point, why he's a serial killer, rather than actually focusing on Gianni Versace. So, in my opinion, I think I said this in a couple of the reviews too, I think this was falsely advertised. I think this is one of the biggest crimes that any show has really done. And I say crime, lightly. I'm not saying they actually broke the law, but I'm saying, it's really a crime the way they advertise the show, because they really advertise the show as Versace, and all the artsy stuff and all the sneak peeks, the trailers and everything before the season hit was all about, it showed Gianni in pretty much every scene. It showed Andrew in some scenes, but it showed basically the Versace part of the show. And it turns out that the majority of this season was not about Versace. It was about Andrew Cunanan. So I really think that they advertised this as the assassination of Gianni Versace. Well, the only thing that we see that's actually about that is probably episode 1, parts of episode 2. And I'm not sure about the finale, right? I can't comment on that. So maybe in the finale they saw that as well. But really, you're gonna advertise this as an assassination of Gianni Versace show, right? That's what it's about. Not really. It's about Andrew Cunanan and what he did. So I just really feel like they falsely advertised this. And here, there's just proof of this here. I mean, we didn't even see Gianni Versace. We did not see Edgar Ramirez for 2 episodes straight. I believe it was episode 4 and 5. We didn't even see him once. He didn't get a second of screen time in either episodes. And this story is about him. It's supposed to be about the assassination of Gianni Versace. And then in the next couple episodes, or at least that I've seen, episode 6 and 7, there was little time spent on him in those episodes. So, really, at the end of the day, if they would have advertised this show as, let's take a look at Andrew Cunanan, the serial killer, let's take a look into his mind, his history, what he did before the assassination, and then we're going to get into that a little bit later, okay, then, yeah, okay, then people might be interested in that, they're going to watch it, and that's what you're giving the viewers, right? You're coming through on your promise. But another point that I want to make as well is if they did that, if they advertised the show as and Andrew Cunanan, looking into Andrew Cunanan, basically, they wouldn't have got as many viewers, right? That's just what I think, right? And that's, I think that's pretty obvious to see. That if they advertise this as a Gianni Versace show, and all the, Versace, that's, everyone pretty much knows Versace, even though, some people don't even know what it is. They know the word, right? They know what Versace is. So, they know what the word is. So anyways, by advertising it like that, you're going to get viewers. And the way you advertise the show, especially with the trailers and all the artsy and the looks and everything, the visuals, you're going to get viewers, right? It looks good. It looks really appealing. But if you're actually going to, show what it really is about Andrew Cunanan and the dark, the grim, and the dreary, stuff, which actually happened the majority of the season, I don't think you get as many viewers. So I think they're smart for doing it, but I just think they totally falsely advertised it. But anyways, that's my 2 cents there. But the fact that we didn't even see Edgar Ramirez for 2 episodes straight, and then little time in the next couple episodes following that, again, can't comment on the finale in episode 8, but for episode 4, 5, 6, and 7, we saw, I would say, a grand total of 10 minutes of Gianni Versace throughout, 4 hours of television. That's just a prediction. I don't know that for sure, but about 10, 15 minutes. That is crazy, and he's supposed to be the main, focal point of the story. So, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe, some of you can correct me and maybe, show me that they didn't totally advertise this as it is. But that's what I think. After seeing all the stuff that they put out, the trailers and everything, it was a Gianni Versace focus. They were focusing all on the art and all the visuals and all that stuff to capture people, and then the season plays out, and it's not actually about that really at all. Right? It's about this, serial killer pretty much. So that's basically my 2 cents there. And then also, they basically told this story of Andrew Cunanan in 9 episodes. Well, some could argue maybe 7, right? Because episode 1 was a little bit more focused on Gianni Versace, and I haven't seen episode 9, but I've heard it's more about, them catching him after the manhunt. So they basically told a story in 7 episodes, we'll say, for being, right sake or being politically correct or whatever. So 7 episodes when it could have been told in, I think, 4 episodes at the least. I would say, this story of him, you get a random killing, then you get the whole thing with David and Jeff, right? And that they dragged that out for 3 episodes. They dragged that David and Jeff killing out for 3 episodes. They looked back on David, and I think it was episode 4. Episode 5 was all Jeff. And then episode 6, So I just really think that they just dragged the shit out of this, really, right? This show could have been done, or this whole story could have been told in 4 episodes, I think. And they turned it out to be 7 or maybe 8 episodes, so it really just seemed like it dragged on, and that's what I think lost so many people's interest, is because they kept, drilling home on this point of, dark and grim, he's a serial killer, he's done all these things. They keep, just drilling home on that point, and after a while, it just gets really, stale and boring, I think. Of course, yeah, it's an emotional, thing, and it's very dark and all that stuff, and it plays on the feelings especially. But, the fact that they keep focusing on that, and there's pretty much nothing else. There's no escape from that story that they're telling, because we don't see Gianni Versace barely any time. So that just really gets stale and boring, and I feel like that's why people got disinterested. That's where I got disinterested in the series, because yeah, they just really dragged the story out that should have been, really, really condensed in 3 to 4 episodes, I believe, and it still would have been interesting. You still would have captured the whole, effect, the theme that you're trying to get at, and then maybe spend a couple more episodes on the manhunt of what, actually chasing him down and capturing him. That's what we all want to see. If you're going to spend 7 episodes building up this guy's character to, that he's a serial killer, he kills these, I would say, basically defenseless or, innocent victims, right? They didn't really do anything, right? And they're, so anyways, and even vulnerable, right? Lee Miglin, the old man, he's very vulnerable, to Andrew. But anyways, so if you're going to, set that theme up and everything, of course the viewer wants to see this guy caught and maybe even killed, right? Like, that's what people want. They want a bad guy, and then we want them defeated. That's, vintage storytelling, right? So if you're gonna do that, then at least give us a couple episodes of them trying to catch the guy and then eventually catching him and maybe even killing him. So, I don't know. I just felt like way too drawn out, and that's what made this series very boring. And the flashbacks really became confusing at times to me as well. The whole thing where they basically told the story from end to beginning, pretty much. It really became confusing to me, at least. And then they were trying to play on the police at times, what they did wrong in this case, but like they only focused on very, very little. Like I said again, I can't talk on the last two episodes. Maybe they played into the police thing more, but the way that they did it, in the first 7 episodes, it was like, they're hinting at it, and then when you actually get interest, you're like, oh, like what did the police do in this situation? They totally forget about it. They don't talk about it again. And then you get the flashbacks, episodes like this, and you're like, well, did the police know that yet? Oh, no, I forget what happened then. So it just becomes really confusing the way they tell this story. And honestly, I found myself at times, I'm like, so when did this happen? I was trying to all fix it in the time slot. I'm sure there's some videos out there that have actually, done that, which is actually pretty cool. I think those videos are, really, impressive, because I think that'd be pretty hard to do. But anyways, yeah, so they just really became confusing the way they, told the story. I think if you tell this story and you start with episode 1. You start with episode 1 as pretty much being episode 7. So you totally flip it around. You have Gianni Versace's assassination at the end of episode 8. Then you have episode 9 like it is. Then I don't, that problem is just totally gone away. And I feel like the series would have been even better. Would have been even, more likable. So, anyways, and then basically, to conclude, or to end, off what I'm saying here, is American Crime Story has now lost its momentum. After an amazing last season. I mean, The People vs. OJ was amazing television to watch. I really, really enjoyed that season. I felt like it was, the acting, just everything in that was really, really good. And the way they told the story, the way they portrayed all the characters and everything, that was so good. And now they have this. So I really just feel like they've lost all momentum and all, sort of the attention that they've had. Don't get me wrong, some people will really enjoy this. Some people may even like this better than last season. Right? That's very subjective. Television is always subjective, so people are going to think different ways. But, I would say it's safe to say that the majority of people would like last season better. And I just feel like, I just felt like this season really, really took away from all the attention, all the interest, all the, critics, acclaimed, all this positive stuff, is just gone pretty much after this season. Although that, this season the critics did, like it, because of all the visuals and all that stuff. But if you really, see this whole season, I would doubt that most of them, would feel the same way after watching the whole season. But most of them just comment on the pilot and then, say, oh, the season's good. Well, you just saw one episode. But anyways, that's a rant for another time. But anyways, so yeah. So I just felt like they've lost all their steam now. So season 3 should be interesting, right? I feel like American Crime Story was referred to as monumental, right? Like it was, awesome. That was what, people wanted to see. But now after this season, do people think the same way? I would say no. So season 3 should be very interesting to see what is that going to bring, Is it going to be good enough to kind of revive American Crime Story here and bring it back to the days where they had People versus OJ, right? So season 3 is going to be focusing on Hurricane Katrina and the aftermath of it inside of a New Orleans hospital. Or New Orleans, I say New Orleans, but anyway, New Orleans hospital. And Sarah Paulson is actually returning for season 3. She's going to be a doctor or a nurse, I think, in the hospital there. So season 3 sounds interesting. It sounds like an interesting theme there, an interesting story. So we'll have to see what happens there, but I think if season 3 is more like this than it is season 1, I don't know what the future of American Crime Story is. I know they already have a plan with season 4 about Clinton versus Lewinsky and that scandal, right? They already have a plan for that. So I'm guessing they're going forward to season 4 anyways. But after season 4, if you have season 3 like this one, I don't know what's going to happen. I personally, I wouldn't see American Crime Story continuing, but it is what it is, right? And we also have to touch on that this story, this season, was way less known than the first season, right? O.J. Simpson, like, everyone knows that case, right? That's a, really, really famous case. So the way that this one was, I didn't know about this. Like, I had no knowledge of this, happening. I knew who Versace was and the whole thing, but I didn't know about the assassination and who Andrew Cunanan was. So this is a lesser known story, right? So we have to take that in consideration, that, O.J. Simpson, they had a lot to build on because they had, all the media and all the articles and all the news basically on that. This one, they kind of had to, substitute some stuff in, I bet, rather than what they did last season. So I have to take that in consideration, but still, I don't really see that as a relative excuse for what happened in this season. So, anyways, that will do it for my little rant of this. Honestly, I probably will watch episode 8 or 9 when I get some time. Been really busy, of course, with other shows right now, but I probably will watch them. But overall, really disappointing season, American Crime Story. The very beginning, the first few episodes, I was really into it. I was really digging it, and last episodes just really, really fell off and, kind of got me really, really disinterested in it. And I honestly forgot about the episodes. I didn't really want to watch them, really. But anyways, so, yeah, I will watch the finale because I know the finale is usually a big part of, seasons, right? That's a big episode. So I will watch that. I'll give it a chance and then, maybe come back and change my opinion maybe, but maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just be as bad. But if you've seen the finale, please comment down below and let me know what you thought of it. Maybe give me say if I'm correct here or if you agree with me. And yeah, for sure, we can discuss that. But anyways, now I will move on to my something I like and something I don't like segment. Alright, so we have arrived at the segment, something I like and something I don't like. This week we actually have 2 things I like, so there's no dislikes this week, so I'll stay in positive this week. So first thing is, something I like, the Westworld Season 2 trailer. So the Season 2 trailer was released March 29th, Thursday this week. Wow, like, that was impressive. HBO released this trailer. I thought it was very well done. Great background music, right? I thought that was like a very good thing there with the music playing in the background, really, getting you excited. I'm really looking forward to this season, man. It was a little bit confusing to me because I thought season 2 would solely focus on this new park. And, it'd be kind of like American Crime Story in the fact that, you have a different story basically every season, and you have some of the cast returning and all that. But it actually looks like they're still in the Westworld Park for a little bit of this trailer. So I'm not exactly sure, and then we get like hints of the showman or the Shogun world, right? So I don't know. I was a little bit confused with this. Maybe I just am I don't know about it enough, which is probably true, because I just really haven't been paying attention to it lately. But this trailer, it was really, really impressive. I really enjoyed it. If you've seen the trailer, please let me know what you thought of it. I'm really excited for Westworld Season 2. It's one of my most anticipated seasons or shows, that coming this spring. We waited a while. It's been 16 months. Luckily for me, it's only been about like 2 or 3 months since I've watched season 1. So I haven't had much time away from it, but I'm really, really looking forward to season 2 now. And honestly, I can't wait. This trailer really, really, it really just got people hyped, right? Like, and I saw all the comments too, and like people cannot wait for this. So it's going to be very good. I think it's going to be a very good show, very good season. May even be better than the first season. I love that. So yeah, really great there. My second thing that I like this week is The Terror, Episode 1. This article here by The Wrap, I'll put it in the description actually, but this is like the first thing that I found. So the title of this article is Season's Top New Cable Drama, The Terror. So this was awesome, right? Personally, like I made my review for The Terror episode 1 and 2 after they did the double premiere this week. I really, really love the pilot, and I just love the show, in general. I really, really like it so far. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season here. Really, really interesting concept and the story, that's behind it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait, and to hear this news is just awesome. So then it says, the article goes on to say, series bests Sunday's Trust, Billions, Silicon Valley, and Barry combined. combined, Terror topped all of these shows. So Barry's that comedy with Bill Hader that has been made. Silicon Valley, of course, pretty popular on HBO. Those are both on HBO. Billions on Showtime, right? And Trust is on FX. So, take in consideration again that HBO, right, this is not counting streaming. This is live viewers. So HBO makes a lot of their views, or, makes a lot of their money on streaming and HBO Go and all those things, right? So you gotta take that into consideration, of course, and Showtime has that stuff too. FX with Trust, that's not that surprising, I don't think, right? I mean, you would kind of believe that the Terror on AMC would top that. But anyways, I thought this was really impressive. I was actually a little bit surprised, after hearing this. But yeah, combined, they beat the 4 other, kind of best shows on Sunday night, because this originally premiered on Sunday night, but the official premiere was Monday. And it actually brought in 3.3 million viewers, the Terror episode 1. So yeah, that was crazy. 3.3 million. And the article refers to the Walking Dead lead-in, and they think that was the main reason why it had its success. I see that, but I also don't. I think that, The Walking Dead did help with the viewers. You're going to get some people who actually, literally just are watching The Walking Dead and then keep the TV on and then that episode plays. Yeah, you're going to get that. But I feel like also that The Walking Dead, fans of The Walking Dead, they were watching The Walking Dead, it ends. I would say most of them turn it off. They're not going to be like, oh, well, here's this new show, I'm going to check it out, right? I feel like I see both sides of that argument. I see that, yeah, it did help, but also another, no, probably not, because The Walking Dead fans, it's a horror genre, but that's pretty much the only comparison that you can make from The Walking Dead to The Terror. There's really nothing, alike. So it could be, right? It could be. But yeah, so I just thought this was an awesome article. Like I said, I'll put it in the description if you guys want to take a look at it. But yeah, so it best, Trust, Billion, Silicon Valley, and Barry combined. I thought that was, just a really cool line. So I'm really happy that it's, having success really early on here. I think it totally deserves it. The money and the time and everything, that went into this show is really paying off. So I really, would like to see that continued support and success for this show, because I really love it so far. So yeah, and I'm making weekly reviews for it on the channel. So yeah, if you are watching the show as well, please keep coming back week to week for those. Tune into those as well. So yeah, that is it for something I like and something I don't like. Alright, so now I will get to the questions that have been sent in to me this week. If you want to get, your question up on the show, please comment on this video, and then I will read it next week's episode. So that's how I'm going to, work this out, at least until I see, a better way of doing this. But for now, pretty much you just, ask a question in the comments, just post a question, and then I will take it. I mean, if it's something that I just have no idea what it is, I may ask you about it, or I just, may not include it, because I don't know what you're talking about. But anything TV related, ask me about the channel, what shows I'm looking forward to, what shows I'm reviewing, if I've seen a show, right? I think I have a question like that today. Just anything really. Movies too. I will tell you, I don't see a lot of movies, these days, just 'cause I just don't really have time to go to a theater and see them. But yeah, so any question like that is totally allowed. Really any question is allowed. It's not a big deal, right? I'm good with anything. But yeah, so if you want to get a question, just comment on this episode, and then next week I will read it and answer your question for sure. So, and this one I have 4 questions for today's Q&A, because I know this episode is a little bit shorter than the 30 to 40 minute time slot so far. So I thought I'd pick 4 because my main discussion wasn't too long today. So yeah, I'm gonna pick 4, and I'm gonna spend some time on them. So yeah, so the first question of today's episode comes from my buddy Shane St. Laurent. Check out his channel, by the way. He's doing TV reviews, movie reviews. He does it all. He does some book reviews as well. I actually, I really applaud him for that, because not a lot of people actually read books anymore, and he's doing book reviews. So that's that's great. So yeah, check out his channel for sure. Just search Shane St. Laurent on YouTube, and I think he comes up first thing. So anyways, his question that he sent into to me this week is: I heard about Saul's delay a while ago, but it still sucks. Yes, it does. I said that last week's episode. My question is, with rumors abound that this is the final season, do you think we'll see another show set in the Breaking Bad universe? Okay, so I totally agree with you. It does suck that it's been delayed. I think that's, it's, I don't know. I feel like it's a negative thing for the show, but also I feel like, maybe it's okay. Maybe that, maybe gives them more time to make it even better. I mean, you can look at it different ways, but yes, I have heard the rumors that this is the final season, although I have heard stuff that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould, the creators, want this to be 5 seasons. So we're not totally sure what's going to happen after this season, but if this is the final season, I do think we're going to see another show in the Breaking Bad universe, to answer your question. Yes, I think we will. I think they've been talking about Gus Fring getting his own show as well. And I think Breaking Bad is such a popular show, such an awesome show, that had so many fans. I think they can do spin-off shows for years, honestly. Like, this Saul one now has been, I think they made it, 2 or 3 years after the Breaking Bad ended. So this show has already been going for now 4 years, right? And I honestly think you have at least another 5 years that you can still get an audience from Breaking Bad tuning into a spin-off show. So yeah, I think they can make a Gus Fring one. I would even argue that you could make I would say you could make a Jesse one maybe, right? Yeah, he's like 20-something, but he did have a little bit of a past beforehand, right? For sure. Can't really do Mike, because he's in Better Call Saul. It's kind of like a companion kind of story there with Better Call Saul, but yeah, I definitely think that it is a possibility. I think you can have another spinoff for sure. I think you can because, like I said, there's, all the popularity that's around Breaking Bad, it's still going to be there. I think 5 years in the future from now, I think it's going to be there. So you can also have a Tuco spinoff. Like, there's so many possibilities here that you can do that I think are still going to be popular and still going to be, widely regarded, as really awesome stuff, right? Like, Better Call Saul, I have heard a lot of complaints about it recently, but I think it's really good. It's one of my favorite shows on television right now. Obviously, because I love Breaking Bad, right? Like, if you don't like Breaking Bad, I don't really see you enjoying these spinoffs as much, but I think there's enough people out there. Yes, you can definitely do another show. Second one comes from one of my loyal fans of the channel. He's been with me for a while here, Greg Rempel. So his question this week is, what do you think of the recent judgments of The Walking Dead saying it was much better before? So, I don't know. I feel like I need to make this a topic of discussion for the next episode, to be honest, because I have a lot of stuff to say about this. But in short, I agree. I agree. I think the judgments of The Walking Dead saying it was better before, I think that's true. I think it was better before, and I would even argue that I don't see The Walking Dead ever getting back to its, plateau. I think it has plateaued by now, right? I think it's reached its peak, and right now, they can really only go down. I don't think they're ever going to get back to that peak. By peak, I mean like season 5, season 6, pretty much, right? Though that was like the biggest Walking Dead time of the, that was like the biggest popularity, the most views, just the story arcs and everything, right? I felt like that was like really the best time of Walking Dead. No, I don't think they can ever get back to that, really. Even with this all-out war, I just don't see it. I don't see them getting back to it. But I will say that I don't think people are saying like The Walking Dead is dead or whatever. I don't think it was dead. I don't think it was ever dead, and I don't think it's, coming back or whatever. I think it's always been back, but yeah, it hasn't been as good, but I feel like it's still good and it's still very, entertaining and all that stuff, even though the views have basically been cut in half over the last 2 years, because we're like, I think they're running at like 6 million now for season 8, and that's like the lowest since like season 1. So yeah, obviously we see that, in the viewership and the ratings that it's going downhill, right? Since season 1. But I don't know. I still think that the show is successful, and I still think it's very popular and very entertaining to watch each week. It's my favorite show on the air right now. So yeah, of course I'm going to have a little bit of bias as well, of course, but yeah, so yeah, thank you for the question, Greg, but I think I'm going to delve more deep into that, maybe next week episode, and maybe even, maybe after that, I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, I do want to delve a little bit deeper into that topic, but in short, I do agree that it was better before, I don't know, that might be a stretch, but I do agree that it was better before. Number 3, this isn't really a question, but, it's kind of a statement I thought I'd reply to. My buddy Adam, the Televisionary. So, he has a channel. I really suggest you go check him out. He does TV reviews. I think he does some movie reviews, but he's mainly television. He calls himself the Televisionary. I think it's a pretty cool name. But anyways, so, yeah, so go check out his channel. But anyways, so Adam asks, he says, The Crossing could be the next Lost. I agree, man. I agree. So I did get a chance to see the pilot of The Crossing a little bit early. It's supposed to be coming out Monday, so 2 days from now when I'm recording this and when this episode will be up. But I actually got to see it, I think it was Friday. It was Friday night, last night. I actually got a chance to see it, and I made my review for it. So if you're looking for that review, anyone who's watching, it's up on the channel. Please go check it out if you've also seen the pilot. But yeah, I totally agree with you. And the way that this show has been advertised, that it says, like, from the network that brought you Lost, right? So we know that ABC is, like, trying to capture on that audience, right? And we also know that so the ABC is trying to capture the audience, and we also know that the theme and the whole concept is sort of similar as well. So honestly, Lost, yeah, like, it's really, really, popular. A lot of people watch it. It was very successful. I think The Crossing can honestly be the same. I think it's a really, really cool show. I've compared it to the 4400 a lot. I feel like it's pretty much, I would argue it's pretty much the same kind of concept, although the 4400 kind of focuses more on the alien and that sort of aspect, and this one kind of focuses on just biologically engineered humans, genetically advanced, right? So it's a little bit different in that regard, but I really think that it's going to be a successful show. I think it can be just as successful as Lost, for sure. And yeah, honestly, I think it could be the next Lost. I think it could be a show like that where it's a really interesting concept, the character is really likable, and people just are really drawn to it. So I totally agree, Adam. I think it could be. I think after the first season, it's too early to judge, right? I think we got to get a few seasons in here, and then we'll, be able to kind of place judgment and see, okay, let's compare the ratings and the viewership and the popularity and the attention it's getting to what Lost got, and then, make a decision on that and say, oh, well, maybe it's better than Lost even, or maybe it's the same, maybe it's worse than Lost. So yeah, I really see a great future for this show. I really hope that this season doesn't, I really hope that fans just get disinterested after the first few episodes. I really hope they keep the interest and they keep going the whole season, for sure. And if they do that, I think, yes, it could be the next Lost. So I think it's a really, really good show, really interesting, and I love the pilot. Not going to spoil here, but I really love the pilot. Number 4, the last question here for today is from Shane St. Laurent again. He sent in a few questions for me, which I appreciate. Thanks, Shane. But anyways, his question is, did you check out Krypton? And if so, what did you think? So, I have heard of Krypton, the show, and I have heard a lot of positive things about it. But to me personally, I don't check out a lot of Marvel or DC stuff. The Punisher I did check out. I saw the first few episodes of that just because I really like John Bernthal from Walking Dead. That was kind of like the main reason. And I don't know, I liked it, but again, the whole superhero thing to me just, I don't know, it's just really not something I'm really interested in. I kind of like the more, reality sort of stuff. I mean, Walking Dead isn't, totally reality, but, it's people without superpowers, right? Like, I don't know. I tend to kind of stay away from most superhero things, but I actually might check out Krypton. I might check out the pilot. Like I said, I've heard amazing things about it. So yeah, I may actually do that. It's the superhero or Superman one, sorry, about that. And I think it's very interesting that they're actually making the show about this whole Superman thing. I feel like because there's a lot of stuff going on in the making of Superman stories and all that stuff. So I find it interesting that they've made all these stories and been able to make shows and movies of all these things about one single character, the Superman. So yeah, I feel like it's interesting. I might check it out, but to me personally, I don't tend to be interested in those type of shows. But thank you for the question, Shane, and definitely I probably will check it out now, now that you asked and now that you brought it up. So anyways, guys, that is it for the question and answer segment today. Like I said at the very beginning, if you want your questions answered, please leave them on this video and I will answer them next week. All right, so that just about does it for this week of Let's Talk Television. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for those of you who sent in questions. I really, really appreciate it, guys. Please keep sending them back in some questions, even if they're a little bit, repeat questions. I'm fine. Really, really appreciate that. And yeah. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the episode this week. I have a really good idea for next week's episode. So please, keep tuning into these. I'm really looking forward to what I can do with this series and what type of things I can talk about. What things I can really spin with this series. Really get out that I can't get out in my other normal videos that I do, like reviews and stuff like that. So yeah, really looking forward to this. And of course, if you have any criticism or improvement ideas that for me, definitely please suggest them. I really want to make this better if I can, and make improvements and all that stuff. So and also, if you want me to talk about something as well as a topic, you can suggest that too. I mean, you can say, what do you think of this? You should do this as a topic or whatever. I'll definitely look into that and most likely do that in one of these episodes. So yeah, really enjoy the discussion here with this one, and I really appreciate it if I got some more questions for next week. So I can answer those in that episode. So yeah, please send those in. So anyways, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the recent support on the channel. Really, really appreciate it. It's been really awesome the last week, so I really, really appreciate that. And I will see you next week on Saturday for Let's Talk Television.